Oh, it's floating.
那位朱长老跟你说的什么悄悄话？我且不计较从前血债，他倒好，竟还有如此大的敌意。
Yep.
山里山外，到处都是哥哥的手下。猴哥哥，务必跟紧我。以前，哥哥常与我在这山间玩耍，那6剑将还会逗我们开心，好生快活。此处有洞门过，我先行，猴哥哥径自往前处去。 2只脚比不过4只脚。
I really am praying that the rest of this level is just empty. Trying to figure. Rishan says, I'm trying to figure out if the cutscenes being so poorly framed is from Chinese cultural context not working well for me, or not being familiar with it, or just bad design translation. I mean, the thing that I'm thinking about a lot is Blade Runner 2049. Blade Runner 2049 is a fucking incredible movie to watch, even if you have not seen Blade Runner. It functions as a film, even if you have not seen Blade Runner, because every character and plot thread that it introduces have inherent meaning in their singular context. So, for example, when it explores concepts that are part of and characters that come from Blade Runner 1, the final cut, you easily fully fucking understand what the point of their inclusion in 2049 is, and like why they're meaningful and like what they represent. There is never a moment of like, this is all going over my head because they're just talking about characters that have never been shown on screen. Like, so you could show Blade Runner 2049 to someone with absolutely no cultural context or background from the original story, and they still get a good fucking movie out of it. But this is not that. This makes no sense. It just doesn't do any heavy lifting, and none of the characters really align with anything, so it just doesn't matter. It's pointless. It's truly pointless to even care. And like, I'm sure there are like neat references to Journey to the West, but again, like, if I wanted to care about Journey to the West, I would just read Journey to the West. Like, even if I knew about Journey to the West, I would not like this game because the story is really poorly told and doesn't do anything that isn't just pointing back at Journey to the West. And I say that as someone who generally doesn't hate sequels and reboots, by the way. Like, I'm fine with sequels and reboots. Okay, well, goodbye. I love that there's no invisible wall here. Oh, they're reusing these enemies now. I see. Palette swap. Searing fire. Eternal life, a simple dream. True ascent, a distant gleam. The world seeks shortcuts lost in their quest with countless sacrifices. They never rest. Outside the walls of the Kingdom of Sacrifice atop the mountain stood the Fume Fire Temple. Renowned for its ability to reform wayward youths from fallen households, the temple was spoken highly of for guiding lost souls towards righteous paths. This tale, as told by a landowner, is about one such disciple, Zhao San. I don't give a shit what landlords have to say. Zhao San was a vagabond. He beguiled guests of brothels into lavish spending, and one of his patrons turned to be a landowner Wang's son. He soon found himself pursued by the authorities and facing a trial against Wang. A Taoist from the Fume Fire Temple happened upon him and offered sanctuary. From that point forward, Zhao San immersed himself in the pursuit of wisdom, practiced diligently, and dutifully undertook tasks assigned by his master. One day, when he descended the mountain on an errand, he came across Mei Yang, a concubine being mistreated by the wife of the household during their journey to the temple. Without hesitation, Zhao San intervened, rescuing Mei Yang, and brought her to the temple to shield her from the cruelty of that family. With nowhere else to turn, Mei Yang, welcomed to the temple by the master, and became a disciple. Filled with gratitude for Zhao San saving her life, she tended to the temple's chores. Over time, she repeatedly sought to become Zhao San's spiritual partner, yet her advances were always rebuffed. Years later, having made significant spiritual process, Zhao San underwent an ascension ceremony organized by his master, with Mei Yang invited as a witness. They were taken to a mountain peak with a river of fire flowing down. Zhao San received a talisman from his master and courageously leaped into the fire. Filled with longing to practice alongside him, Mei Yang followed suit amidst cheers and blessings. As the smoke rose, they were reborn from the blazing fires as eternal guardians of the river of lava. Thus, in a fiery embrace, they found immortality and everlasting life, forever part of the river's endless flow. Rishin says, I meant more about how the story is being told, not what they're actually saying, like how theater has its own way of conveying information that feels strange when you try to directly translate to film. I wonder if something like that is just being fundamentally missed without context. I don't really know about that, because I do think that, like obviously, like, the modality of theater is different from the modality of film, and, like, trying to adapt one medium to another will inherently have friction because, like, the language is different and the modality is different. But in this particular case, they're still just making a fucking game. And, like the storytelling on display here, I don't think is cultural. I think the issue is they just aren't doing the work to explain anything or even, like, introduce anything. And I mean that even separate from the context of, like, maybe this is just like an Eastern way of, like, telling a story that doesn't have the same presuppositions as we expect in the West. There are moments where they introduce a character, the camera swings around them, the music swells, and then they just, like, never say their name because we're just supposed to know. And we're supposed to understand why that's important. Like, when it's like, I'm the daughter of the fair fox. You know who that is? That's a big deal. Oh my God, it's the fair fox. Wow, who is that? Why should I care? And, like, the player can make the assumption, sure, okay, the fair fox is an important person from Sun Wukong's previous journey. But the way that this is portrayed, it's doing exactly what Ready Player One does. Where it's like, The Shining is a great movie. I love The Shining. The Shining rules. This hallway is just like The Shining. It's from The Shining. Okay, anyway. And, like, that doesn't mean anything, and it doesn't communicate anything. And I really struggle to point to that as, like, some cultural thing we're missing, because I don't think that's cultural. I think that's just bad storytelling. Like, normally, cultures, even if they differ from each other, have reasons and structures for why they tell stories the way they do. And it's really hard for me to understand why a culture would just inherently choose to tell a story poorly. So I really don't want to chalk it up to, like, Chinese culture that we're missing not being good, because I don't think it's that. In fact, I think it's like, and I'm not saying you're saying this, but, like, I think that's, like, a prejudiced point of view to believe in, right? Like, and again, I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm saying I don't want to be like that, so I don't want to dismiss this as, like, cultural context that I just don't assume or don't understand, because, like, the only logic I can see in this is that it's just a bad story. You know what I mean? Unpronounceable says, they just make a big jump down and did exactly nothing with it. The lack of thought in the level design feels tiring. Yes. Like, the thing that this game makes me feel like is, it feels like a connected universe story, but it's not even like they're made poorly and don't pay attention to, like, or don't do setup for what came before. It's like if Avengers Endgame came out and there were just no other Marvel movies that ever released. And you, like, you know, Captain America goes, Avengers assemble, and then you just get you see 120 people you've just never heard of in your life show up on screen. And yes, some people probably had that experience with Avengers Endgame, but the point is they could, like, they came into that just with no context, and those movies still usually set up their characters as thematically relevant, even if you haven't seen the movies previously. So you can watch the Avengers without having seen Captain America, the first Avenger, and be like, okay, I get him. He's upstanding. He's honest. He stands for, like, an idealized version of the American dream. He strikes back against systems of disparity, and he champions a little man. I get his character, even though I haven't seen his origin story. Like, it's very easy to go into those movies and understand what they're doing because every character gets a moment that sets them up. But here, like, Bajie being like, the fair fox, stroke my chin and then fucking fly off, my home planet needs me. Like, that doesn't tell us anything about them, and we don't know who this person is because they're off screen. They haven't been defined yet. So we just don't have any information to work with. Earth Rakshasa, round eyes that gleam so bright, a body drenched in blood's light, with a 7 treasure hat adorned, a sincere heart, though face is scorned. This enemy is kind of just a palette swap, a reuse of the Mind Core enemies from level 2 that you farm with the shields, the rat vanguards or whatever. The Earth Rakshasas were descendants of the Sea Rakshasas, born new during their exile. Due to the different will of their new home, they did not grow to the enormous size of their ancestors. Despite this, their loyalty to Princess Rakshasi remained as steadfast as their forebears. They strictly adhered to the precepts set by Rakshasi, diligently practicing their arts and shedding many of their old vices. There were many folk tales about Rakshasas being fond of eating human flesh, which is why villages near Flaming Mountains often sent their elderly to the stone temple as offerings. In truth, the Rakshasas of Flaming Mountains did not eat humans. On the contrary, because their immense strength could easily harm mortals, Rakshasi gave them specially crafted heavy shields and instructed them to focus more on defense and attack. However, if pushed to their limits, they would still unleash their fire-breathing abilities. Even though the Earth Rakshasas had made many changes, people still screamed and fled in terror at the sight of their fearsome appearance. But from the perspective of the Earth Rakshasas, weren't those screaming mortals just as terrifying? I don't know. Why do they just randomly attack people that walk up to them? J480 says, I also wonder who Chi-Chi is supposed to be based off. Hey, Toaster. Hi, Jay. I will beat this game. I'm not worried about that at all. I genuinely have zero concern about finishing the game. It's gonna happen. It's not even difficult at this point. I'm breezing through it. God. It is just like palette swapping old enemies at this point, though. Scorching fire. Ignorance ignites a fool's fire, daily anguish in a somber mire. Enduring a life of ceaseless pain, they yearn for death, not celestial gain. Legend has it that during the reign of the Yellow Emperor, an official of pottery named Nungfanze learned of the art of fire with 5-colored fumes from immortals, and tried to ascend by roasting himself over the flames. Some say he achieved ascension, others claim he burned himself to death. No one knows the truth. The tale we have here is recounted by a runaway disciple from the Fume Fire Temple in the Kingdom of Sacrifice, a place rooted in the art of 5-colored fume fire. The master of the disciples served as the abbot of the temple. One day, the disciple accompanied his master for some liquor in town, and they came across a fugitive being pursued by officers. As the temple was short on help, and the fugitive was a wealthy one, they offered him shelter. This man, Jiao San, was a mere wastrel, the guy from the other story, a mere wastrel who lured patrons from brothels into extravagant... they're repeating it! They're repeating it! This is another repeat, isn't it? Was a mere wastrel who lured patients from brothels and extravagant spending. The temple was already home to various robbers and bandits, and it proved to be a corrupting influence on Jiao San. In the company of fellow criminals every day, he soon became 10 times more villainous than before. One day, Jiao San set off to rob travelers to fund his own lavish lifestyle. He targeted a wealthy family returning from his monthly worship, and in an act driven by greed and lust, he abducted the family's concubine, Mei Yang. Okay, it's just the other side of this story. Imprisoned within the temple walls, Mei Yang endured daily chores and beatings. Despite her deep resentment towards Jiao San, she was powerless against his violence. She could only grit her teeth and bide her time, hoping for an escape. Years later, a ceremony for ascension was announced at the temple. The disciple who tells the story was tasked with escorting Mei Yang to the event. Held atop a high cliff overlooking a river of lava, Jiao San had already prepared to leap into the fire for ascension with a talisman from his master. He insisted Mei Yang accompany him. Amidst the frenzied cheers of the followers and terrified cries of Mei Yang, the disciple pushed the girl off the cliff as ordered. Charred in the river of lava, their bodies swelled grotesquely as the lava, guided up by the talisman, seeped into their skulls. Their distorted new forms staggered up, writhing in agony, and ran towards the depths of the Black Mountains. Witnessing this horrifying transformation, the disciple renounced his belief in the temple's teaching, no matter how vehemently the master rationalized it as transcendent metamorphosis. Get it? It's like, depends on who tells the story is the tone of it. That's fine. That one was fine. I don't really care about that. Let's run. Bye, bitch. See you later. I am straight up just running past these guys. I do not give a fuck about fighting them. I hate these enemies. They're boring. Same with you. Not gonna fight you. Don't even need to level up. So it's speedrun time, baby. Bye. Who is talking? Who is talking to me? Flamling. Amidst joy, a gentle spirit gleams. In anger, darkness sows its schemes. Beneath the earth, a silent foe flames within, slyly aglow. Ancient texts speak of flame ore bearing a resemblance to cinnabar ore, but being non-toxic and more potent for pill refinement. Its sought-after properties for enhancing both yin and yang energies attracted many pill crafters, yet this rare substance of the mountain spirits remains elusive and priceless. Then there was Chungming, a man obsessed with oddities, scorned by his family for his poverty. Learning that flame ores were formed within flamlings, he set out to profit from it. Selling all he had, he plunged into the mountains, fixated on capturing a flamling. During 2 weeks with... days turned to weeks with no news, save that his makeshift shelter mysteriously burned down. Hiccup. Raging at his misfortune, he saw a large red worm emerge from the ground before him, half buried, half exposed, with the innocent face of a child, much like a disciple of Guan Yin's. Startled by Chungming's fury, it wept. Chungming shouted to scare it and silence it, but it only angered the flaming, who swiftly burrowed away. It was only then that Chungming realized it was a flamling. He leaped about, hoping to lure it out again. Finally, the guy, annoyed perhaps, burrowed out and struck him with a fireball. The clothes and skin of Chungming caught on fire, and he rolled on the ground in pain and despair. He broke down in tears, realizing that he couldn't seize the flame ore by himself. Then, amused and curious, the flameling drew near him. For this one time, Chungming chose to be brutal and resolute. He smashed its head with a rock until it was completely shattered. Chungming continued this merciless act and harvested plenty of flame ores, but he kept his methods a secret. His methods are just murder. His growing sales of the ores eventually earned him fame in renowned medicine gatherer far and wide. I mean, of course, you just have to... Is it really a secret? You killed the thing that is known to make flame ore. You harvested the flame ore from the thing. Is that really a mystery? Is it a secret? Is murder really just a secret technique? I can't fucking see where I'm going. That's another cart. Oh, great. This is another creature, and I'm going to get another text box to read from that. Oh, I'm not. Okay, cool. Thank God. Fucking A. Who are you? God damn it. I don't want to put up with you. Let's go over here real quick. Ugh. I hate big levels with multiple areas to go to. Someone who has played this game, which way is the critical path? Is the critical path this way? Towards the big gate? And is this an invisible wall, or can I go over here? I can go over here. This is lava. That's lava. Can I run across this? Does it hurt me? Does not appear to hurt me. Odd, but okay. That's a boss creature. Why can't I hit it? There we go. Go away, idiot. Thank you. I already forgot follow your heart, says Soul Sloth. I don't want to. I want to spend as little time as humanly possible on this game. It's already hard enough for me to keep track of what the hell is going on in this level. There we go. Die, idiot. Get stun locked. Okay, well, we did it. Oop. I didn't mean to do that. That's nothing. New Yao Gai Chief anecdote. Flint Chief. Divine fire crafts a wondrous device in the depths of the flame pool. It hides from eyes. Foes arise with swift, fierce might. In the clash, its grandeur shines bright. When it comes to who spoiled Red Boy the most in Flaming Mountains, it has to be the Keeper. However, Red Boy didn't always appreciate it, much like his parents, the Bull King and Lady Rakshasi, who took the Keeper's efforts for granted. After all, he was not one of the family, and regardless of how much effort he put in to others, he was still an outsider. One day, Red Boy demanded to have a Flint Vanguard, modeled after the Stone Vanguard of Yellowwind Ridge. The Bull King and Lady Rakshasi did not favor the plan, but the Keeper immediately agreed. Fearing that just a Stone Vanguard wouldn't be enough to entertain the boy, he went ahead and created more rock wise. Among them, a giant rock Y with arms and legs strong enough to support its massive body. This giant rock Y was more formidable than the others, usually lying dormant in the river of fire. It would only emerge when summoned by its master or when a powerful enemy intruded. Red Boy didn't like these rock Ys that the keeper had created without his permission and mostly visited only the Flint Vanguard. Since Red Boy lived with Lady Rakshasi in the Emerald Hall, the keeper stationed these rock Ys in Furnace Valley. Later, when the Red Boy besieged Flame Mountains, these rock Ys from the river of fire proved to be quite helpful, inevitably leading to some speculation over the keeper himself. You know what? Fine. I'm trying here, okay? I'm doing my freaking best. Give me a break. I just wish that the lore gave us literally any actionable or useful information, but it just doesn't. Like, it would be a completely different circumstance if this was like Elden Ring lore or like Souls lore or something, where there was like a tangible benefit to reading things that had like actionable and direct relationships to like how you interact with the environment in that text and how you understand the world. But I straight up don't understand how the society in this world is built or functions. Like, again, it's completely unactionable information. Okay, well, don't move, idiot. Thank you. Bang. Jesus, what just hit me? That was fine. Oh, Kun Steel. Okay, that was worth grabbing. We have a bunch of like bull blood that we can use to like upgrade certain creatures and stuff. I'll look into doing that when we're like towards the end of the game, I think, just to fucking do it. Just like upgrade whatever gives us the best like critical chance and equip that, because like who cares? Tenor. Within the gloom, the monkeys roam, far away from their lauded home, ensnared in traps as troubles brew, and revenge's journey what's cause what's due. Centuries ago, the troops of the court raised Mount Huaguo once more. Upon hearing of the great sage's death, many monkeys left their home in sorrow and began searching for new sanctuaries for their practice. Given the great sage's past association with the Bull King, many sought his protection at Flaming Mountains. The Bull King hated monkeys as the great sage had betrayed him, yet he offered shelter to these distressed refugees. But life in Flaming Mountains was harsh, afflicted with the scorching heat and frequent harassment from outer Yaoguais. Fortunately, the keeper of the land treated them kindly, providing food and support, and earned the trust of the monkeys. Soon, however, a plague struck. The monkeys' fur began to fall out, their skin festered with sores, and large black boils, horrifying and infectious, spread on their backs. The plague spread rapidly, leaving many in such agony that death seemed a preferable fate. The macaque chief, their leader, ordered the infected to be cast into the scorching furnace valley to fend for themselves there. Abandoned and dying, these monkeys cursed their former kin. As death neared, the keeper came and saved him with his astounding cures. In weeks, their skin healed, in months, their boils burst, revealed dark wings. The keeper taught them to fly, accepted their loyalty, and enlisted them as his 10th rank minions named Tenors. Their first task was to purge the camp of the macaque chief. Ruthlessly, they slaughtered their kin, sparing only the cunning macaque chief, who managed to escape to an unknown fate. Okay. Their first task was to purge the camp of the macaque chief. They had to kill the macaque chief. They slaughtered all their kin, and then they let the macaque chief go. Interesting. Huge slow aerial slam with dragon lightning, 1/10 of his HP. Nearly instant giant baby headbutt, 1/4. Seems so wrong. Yeah. What did that do? I will I will free you from his evil. I will kill you. I'm perfectly happy to do that, idiot. Is he just like a Woody? Does he just... You pull his drawstring and he's like, there's a snake in my boot. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep pulling your darn rope and then I'm going to fight you. But also, I can't craft right now, so that's fine. Get ready. I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to Saint Trina you until you start repeating dialogue. I've played a Souls game before. No, idiot. Let me fight you. No. Yes, you should let go. Is this it? Is this just something I need to do later? Okay. You know what? I think that's just something I can't do. Yeah, he's repeating dialogue. Okay, so this is just a different quest, I guess. We'll come back here. Hi, Sam. Soulslike says, I'll give you advice. Don't bother making more armor or weapons. The end of the game will give you the best equipment. Cool. Great. I don't know how I'm supposed to interact with that cart, but I'll figure it out. Or I just won't. And that's valid too. Because honestly, who gives a fuck? Who gives a garsh? Am I right? What is up there? Nope, I'm gonna go this way. I want your soul, I guess. Because I have nothing better to do. Idiot. Man, just like straight up. Is there more reading? I didn't even notice. No, there isn't. I got it all. I assume I just have a quest to do for the big thing, so I'm not worried about it right now. Okay, finally. Okay. What? The lightning strike hit, but... Shut up. Okay, I can't touch him when he does that, which is fine. Good. Let him be blind. What? God damn it. Alright, that didn't, like, no damage, but that's fine. Why is my movement fucked up? What is happening? That was weird. It's weird that we're getting spirits from just like full-on boss enemies now. Don't really know what to think about that. It's like oddly inconsistent to the rest of the game. Cloudy mist, misty cloud. Let the strange be strange, the odd be odd. Follow the boy master, let mountains fall in chaos. Flaunt neither strength nor take pride. When disputes come near, cast them aside. Once upon a time, there were 3 ghosts who shared a single body. They aspired to earn the title of mountain deity, and thus, with their bribe paid, they targeted at a blind mountain deity of Mount Hao to take his place. Though the mountain god was blind, his hearing was exceptionally sharp. He was highly skilled in the art of smoke and fire, able to release smoke to conceal his movements. Whenever the 3 ghosts came to provoke him, he would immediately vanish into hiding. One time, the 3 ghosts combined their powers to emit a sweeping flash of lightning, forcing the mountain deity out of hiding. The mountain deity cried out, waving his incense sticks wildly. The 3 ghosts, being clumsy, couldn't dodge and got hit. Seeing their clothes catch fire, the 3 ghosts forgot about the mountain deity and started blaming each other. As they quarreled, a burst of laughter echoed from the cliff. A young boy with red skin and white hair sat there, watching them as if enjoying a show. Embarrassed and angry, the 3 ghosts and the mountain deity temporarily set aside their differences and attacked the young boy. The boy, finding it amusing, wielded a sharp spear and sparred with them. Unexpectedly, the mountain deity's smoke perfectly concealed the clumsy bodies of the 3 ghosts. While the ghost lightning provided opportunities for the mountain deity to attack, together they managed to fight the young boy for several rounds. It wasn't until the boy used his samadhi fire that they fell to the ground begging for mercy. Then Red Boy told them, "From now on, these 600 miles of mountains are mine. You will follow me and become my captains." From then on, the 3 ghosts were given a new name. Cloudy Mist, and the blind mountain deity was named Misty Cloud. They continued to serve Red Boy as a team, but their deep-seated animosity remained unresolved, leading to frequent quarrels that persisted to this day. What 3 ghosts? I guess Cloudy Mist was 3 ghosts put together? I guess it makes sense. Please, God, let this just be the end of the level. It's all I want. It's all I'm asking for, game. Please, free me from this prison. I'm about 45% done with this level. God. Miraculous pill created by King Father of the East on the mountain of Fengzhong that increases maximum mana. Great. Love that. Fuck. Wow, I missed. Can I just stun lock this guy? Guess so. Okay. If I hear a single person who likes this game complain about Lost Izalith, I will absolutely go bananas. Ma Tian Ba's quest ends here. Interesting. I'll have to keep an eye out for him. Bull Stalwart. In remote corners, evil shows its face, yet the good seeks the divine's embrace. Evil's end is found in fire's relentless glow, while the good is shielded, be it high or low. In a village beneath flaming mountains, the impoverished residents have subsisted solely on rice cakes and wore nothing but coarse linen clothes. To appease the Yaoguais in the mountains for rain, they had a grim custom, sending elders over 60 as offerings. Old Shu, a Dao aspirant in his youth, only grew stronger with age, and his vitality hinted at a long life. Yet on his 60th birthday, in the midst of lavish celebration, the villagers placed him on a ceremonial altar and carried him to a stone temple in the mountains to be sacrificed. Confined in the temple, Old Shu grew weak from hunger and thirst. At the brink of death, the temple door swung open, and two enormous figures entered. Another old one of them said, and the other frowned. He's still breathing. Let's go check on him. He was then approached by two Bulguais clad in armor, each wielding a pair of hammers. Frozen in fear, he remained voiceless. However, the Guais, instead of harming him, handed him a sack of water and shared their dried food. Then they instructed him, leave the temple and follow the path marked by the bamboo stakes to find the main road. From there, the west leads to the kingdom of sacrifice, and to the east, the kingdom of women. Choose your way. Recovering his senses, Old Chu asked why they spared him. One of the Guais replied, you mortals underestimate us. If we were to feast on humans, we wouldn't choose the elderly. Our lady has often sent the old back, but everyone she sent back ended up murdered. Now we guide you old ones to seek life elsewhere. Eat quickly and be on your way. With that, the Bull Guais left Old Chu alone and resumed their patrol with their hammers swinging. I'm just trying to read those as fast as possible so that my pulse doesn't slow to a crawl worse than when I read password. That's a boss up there, so we'll deal with him in a minute. Once I finish exploring all this stupid area. Oh, good. There's no fucking exploring to do. Great. Cool. I love that. And by I love that, I mean... what's the point? Who are you? Flame Rhino Master. Towering horn, a crown so rare, and simple garb a presence fair. To the kind man it shows its thanks, wishing him joy in life's ranks. In the ancient kingdom of Dharavati, rhinoceroses were widely praised and adored. Once during a rhino hunt, the king shot a pregnant female. As she lay dying, she birthed a calf. Amused, the king took the young rhino back to the royal gardens. Haunted by its mother's death, the rhino feared the palace folk. At the mere sight of them, it would flee in terror, prompting the courtiers to chase it for sport, whip in hand. It wasn't until its horn grew sharp enough that the rhino found its chance to avenge its mother. It gored a courtier during his chase. The king, enraged, called for a butcher to slay the beast, but the butcher, moved by pity, smeared dog blood on the rhino to feign its death and smuggled it out of the palace. Kept it hidden amongst his own rhinos. Why couldn't he just... okay. He nurtured it with the prize wheat, and it lived for years. One night, the butcher dreamt of the rhino speaking. I was destined to transcend my form and become a Yaoguai in this life, but your kindness calls for a reward, and I am willing to sacrifice this future to repay you. But the king was the one who killed his dad. So are you really repaying his kindness? He's the reason why your life is terrible. Kill him. Tomorrow, I'm willing to sacrifice this future to repay you. Tomorrow is when your life will end, and all my years left. I will give you my horn, will be left on your table, Wait, tomorrow is when your life will end, and all my years left, I will give you. My horn will be left on your table. When you pass, have your wife burn it. If it burns completely, you shall live again. The next day, the butcher found the horn, but no sign of the rhino. He told his wife what to do, and the sun soon breathed his last. Following his instructions, his wife burned the horn for 49 days and nights. Astonishingly, the butcher was resurrected, yet he was different. He had grown a long rhino horn, and his skin had turned blue. Years later, still youthful after his wife passed, he became a disciple of Princess Rakshasi and was revered as the Rhino Master. So are all of these guys the Rhino Master? You know what I mean? I'm just asking questions. Bull Governor. The old bull's halberd tip gleams, karmic flame scorches shoulders seams, guiding his souls to his life's end, toils endlessly in the mortal land. In bygone days, a young boy hid in a neighbor's storeroom to play with fire. Accidentally, he ignited the flames inside. Fearing punishment, he attempted to extinguish the flames himself, but they quickly grew out of control. The entire storeroom was consumed, and tragically, the boy perished in the blaze. His death left behind a great calamity. The neighbors demanded compensation for the lost items from his parents, while his parents demanded compensation for their son's life. The arguments raged on, and even in the seventh day of the boy's death, and that day his soul... And even on the seventh day after the boy's death, and the day that his soul should be fetched, no resolution was reached. With the ritual of the funeral disrupted, the bullheaded horseface, the soul fetchers, refused to escort his soul. Seeing his subordinates' reluctance, the bull governor decided to escort the boy himself. As they approached the boy's home, they heard the sounds of his parents quarreling with the neighbors. Entering the courtyard, they saw the boy's parents accusing, "Our son died in your storeroom. Who knows if he stumbled upon some illicit activity," and was silenced. The neighbors retorted, "Our storeroom held valuable items. Your son must have had thieving intentions causing the fire. You must compensate us." Their heated dispute ended up violence. Their heated dispute eventually ended up violence. The bull governor asked the boy, "Did you ever foresee this outcome?" The boy, filled with regret, wept bitterly. The bull governor in his compassion said, "Enough. Such chaos on soul-fetching day is disrespectful." With that, flames erupted from his shoulder, and he struck the old tree in the courtyard with his halberd, setting it ablaze. The tree was charred black, and then only then did the quarreling crowd remember it was soul-fetching day. In a panic, they all fled the courtyard. You just have to wonder. I should kill these things, probably. Oh, it's the monk again. I'm about to end it up violence as well. This is something to interact with, probably.
何以称我情？浊酒且自讨。好酒当配好器。这个拿。牛魔王认了命，可是有人不想认。清官难断家事，你我何必沾手？喝上一壶好酒，忘绝烦恼忧愁。牛魔王认了，清官难断。喝上一壶好酒。
Why? He just said take. Oh, okay, it's here. I was like, what gourd do you want me to take, fool? Cool, I got the Omega gourd. The Supreme gourd. I was really close. What does that do? Does it matter, or is it just the best gourd? Yeah, I guess it just upgraded my gourd again. I don't really know what the point of that is, but it's cool. We'll take it. Okay, these things don't have as much health as I thought. Are they just palette swaps? Or, like, embiggened versions of the basic enemies that are right here? Why do you keep switching lock-on? Why is he doing the slow animation? There we go. See Rakshasa. My land is harsh and my looks stern, yet at their scorn I never turn. True valor looks not on the skin, I should have known who is my kin. Lore tells of the great kingdom of Rakshasa beyond the western seas, where the sea Rakshasas call home. Renowned for their peculiar features, they differ starkly from those on land. One year, sea Yaoguais were reported reported troubling a temple by the sea. The princess of the kingdom was tasked with the expulsion of Yao Guais. A devout practitioner of Buddhism with formidable powers, she dismissed her entourage and resolved to confront the Yao Guais alone. As she recited scriptures loudly in the temple that night, she saw several towering figures kneel at the door, grotesque in form. Lumpy heads, twisted mouths, three-holed noses, and eyes upon their foreheads. Startled by their hideousness, the princess fell to the ground in fright. The figures, too, pointed at her face, screaming in terror. They hastily fled. Intrigued by their unexpected reaction, she called out to them. The fear that drove them to run was quenched only after the princess resumed her chanting. They cautiously returned and conversed with her, after which she learned that they were sea Rakshasa seeking spiritual practice. The princess welcomed them. To avoid alarming the people, she fashioned golden gem-studded masks for them. Soon the Rakshasa king granted them massive shields and appointed them as the royal guards of the princess. Hundreds of years later, after the kingdom of Rakshasa fell, the sea Rakshasas escorted the princess eastward to flaming mountains. Faced with hardships, they learned to consume fire to better protect their princess, which turned their blue skin crimson. Now they reside in the river of lava, mastering the tides of flame in the mountains. The princess, long past her prime, finds solace in the unwavering loyalty of her guards who value her heart over her faded beauty. Every second of this game is extended, brutal agony. Is there a little area behind that guy, or is he just guarding nothing? He is guarding nothing, which is great for me, frankly. Bye, fools. Why fight when you can literally just leave?